4, 3, 2, 1.
Teal Nation, Strut Nation, welcome to 54 minutes of the Joe TD. I have a Dr. Seuss themed poem for tonight. In a land by the sea where the Chanticleers play, they faced Jacksonville State on a bright sunny day. With helmets of teal and jerseys of bronze, they charged on the field with cheers and with songs. The Gamecocks were tough, they'd not give in, but the Chanticleers knew that today they'd win. With zigging and zagging, they dashed down the field, and to no one's surprise, they never did yield. The crowd cheered and roared as they scored once again. The Chanticleers soared. Oh, how did they win? With grit and with spirit, they stood tall and clear and shouted, "Go Coastal! Victory is here." Teal Nation, Strut Nation, welcome to the Strut. This is game week. TD and Joe are with me. We got a guest joining us soon. I want to keep the guest a surprise for right now. Is that okay with y'all?
Yes. I think it would be a golden surprise for everybody.
Oh. You're saying it'd be a bronze moment in Strut history?
It'd be a very bronze moment in Strut history. Golden and bronze will rain down from the teal heavens above.
Joe, that was almost poetic like I just did, but TD just said there, wasn't it?
It really was. I mean, it goes along. It goes along with the Paris toast I ate for breakfast this morning.
Hey, there you go. There you go. Gentlemen,
oh, dear.
I tell you what, we've had 4 weeks of good quality content, some awesome guests, new faces to the program, new faces to the pod with AD Chants Miller. We had Bergs. We had Coach Beck. And I'll say this, I text y'all last night. Let me tell you something. Joe Capps, great job, buddy. I know he listens to the pod. Berg, Sam, man, at Shanties, Sean Kobus, y'all did a great job last night. Well over 100 people consistently from about 4 p.m. through about 7:30, 8 p.m., man. Great crowd last night for the call-in show. So if that's any indication of this pod and tomorrow night, I like how we're trending, boys.
We're in a good place. I mean, I was really happy, TD. You told us via text message how the crowd was looking at Shanties. And if we've got that kind of interest in the call-in show and attending it, I'm really excited about what this season is going to bring as far as what our fans go, Joe.
No question. Great to see a tremendous crowd at Shanties. Of course, having done the radio show for many, many years and at different venues along the way, it was really, really great to see all the teal at Shanties last night, and I hope that continues. That's a great venue, great time to have it 6 o'clock on a Tuesday night. I mean, it gets all the Coastal fans in the area out and to hear Coach Beck and Cats on the show, and I thought they did a great job. And just a great start to game week, right? I mean, of course, game is Thursday night. We're recording this on Wednesday evening, and so who knows? Hopefully, we'll get it to drop tonight. I know Chili will work on that, but anyway, the coach's show is great, and I'm looking forward to the radio broadcast tomorrow, as well as being able to watch it on CBS Sportsnet.
CBS Sportsnet. Make sure I had people ask me about that. CBS Sportsnet now, not CBS. So let's make sure, Teal Nation, Strut Nation, we know exactly what channel it has on your local cable network. Or if you have not, then make sure you subscribe and get CBS Sports Network, man.
And also, if you stream it like I do, I went and downloaded the CBS Sports app, and it did tell me that once I verified whatever you do with that when you enter the 6-digit number or whatever, I entered it in, and I do have CBS Sports Network for the game tomorrow night. So if you're streaming like I do, just download the CBS Sports app. It should pop up on yours, depending on what your provider is too. So just be aware of that. You don't have to go out and do a free preview to Fubo or YouTube TV or something like that. You can get it through the CBS Sports app.
That's right. Dylan, we got a jam-packed night tonight with a couple guests and guest of honor, if you will, and a breakdown of Jacksonville State, the Shamecocks. And I'm excited to get into it, man. Chili, what's our first line of business tonight?
So first line of business, we're waiting for our guests to sign in, and they haven't come in just yet. So we're kind of killing a little bit of time. No big deal, because we have a lot to talk about. So we'll get to our guest when the guest arrives, and I don't want to give away anything other than that.
Joe,
we'll also go into a Jacksonville State breakdown, and then, Joe, we have one more guest after that. You're getting two guests tonight.
Two guests. Joe, Chili, I think it's okay. It would be a very golden moment for this podcast, right? This is no longer the Bronze Age. It's is our guest here?
Oh. No.
Oh man. So
I was Googling something.
So our guest has not crossed the finish line, is what you're saying yet?
That is correct.
Okay. All right. Joe, I'm dropping as many hints as possible right now. I'll tell you what though, pretty exciting night, man. Another first for the podcast.
TD, if you gave away any more hints without someone being able to figure this thing out. It's a pretty good gift for us tonight, though. I mean, it really is.
Man.
I mean, this we talk about debates as to, the greatest athlete that's ever come through Coastal, the greatest sports moment, individually or team wise. I mean, that has certainly stirred up some conversation, certainly out there on the X sphere and on the interwebs, and so to speak. So it's to have somebody tonight to come in and talk about that experience, and be able to share that with our listeners. We're certainly very excited about it and anticipating this conversation.
And one thing I'm excited about, TD and Joe, is I'm a track coach. So this is the first time I get a track person on the strut. Because in my coaching career, I have one state championship and it's in track, and my medal is somewhere over there. I'm tempted to break it out when she comes in because I have a bronze and I have a gold myself, but it's clearly not as cool as hers. I'll promise you that. Well,
until as we are efforting to get our guest on without telling who this individual, we pretty much painted by number up until this point, and real excited about. Apparently, my son Paxton's also excited about he's fired up about our guest coming on.
Has the game already started and we're missing it? I mean, I hear what's going on? Somebody just score? Ethan Vasco?
Wait, did you just drop a hint about the quarterback, Joe, or is that just just saying, hey, he happened to score one in the second quarter, maybe?
That's just a random name that just kind of came out right there. And looking ahead to that tomorrow night. I mean, that's certainly a big storyline around Coastal as to who's going to start, and well, I know we're going to get into that a little bit later, but that's certainly been a topic of discussion.
I will say this: I did notice there was a change in his number. He is now wearing the illustrious, glorious, most prolific number in all of Coastal football, number 15.
Clearly a season-long tribute to your Heisman campaign that fell just a couple of votes short of you bringing that trophy back to Conway, TD.
Yeah, like the political season has upon us, you got to get on the ballot first. So I wasn't on the ballot. But in NCAA 2025, again, my son Max created me. And let me tell you something. I went All-American and ended up going to the portal. Did not come. I mean, I came back. They wanted me, but I didn't take it. So, just a lot of great things going on in the future of coastal football with that number. And again, my prolific career that fell short of a Heisman. Honestly, just missed it by that much. And
it's so close.
Yeah, like those that are watching us on YouTube, and you'll be able to stream us live. Sunday Strut. Really excited about that. Sunday Strut's going to be live stream, right, Chili? Real excited about that, man.
On various social media platforms, you'll have the Sunday Strut able to be streamed. We're hoping to get it all three of our major ones, which would be Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter this coming Sunday for our Sunday Strut breakdown of what happens on Thursday night.
Awesome. Well, I'll tell you what, man, we could talk about the week that is in the Sun Belt before our guest gets on, as I know that we're efforting that right now. I think she may be experiencing some technical difficulties. But
yeah, I'm working on that now. So y'all want to go ahead and maybe talk a little bit of Jacksonville State, and then when she comes in, we can kind of go with her and then come back?
We can, or
Sure.
Well, how about this? How about we tee up real quick so we can do our picks at the end of the pod? We tee up across the Sun Belt this weekend. That way it's something that we could tee up and then come back to it at the very end.
Sounds good. So starting us off tomorrow night at 6 in Monroe, that's 6 their time, over in Monroe, Jackson State travels to Monroe to take on the Warhawks. And then the good guys will be traveling to Jacksonville, Alabama on the CBS Sports Network, 7 o'clock local time, 8 o'clock our time for a kickoff tomorrow night, Chants versus the Gamecocks. Then we head over to Saturday, August 31st for the first big weekend in earnest for college football. You've got East Tennessee State traveling to Appalachian Stank. Boise State goes to Georgia Southern. Old Dominion at South Carolina. Stony Brook at Marshall. North Texas goes to South Alabama. Nevada at Troy. Central Arkansas at Arkansas State. Southern Miss at Kentucky. Lamar at Texas State. Grambling at Louisiana. Georgia State at Georgia Tech. And then James Madison at Charlotte. That's a big slate of games for the Sun Belt coming up this weekend. It's the kickoff weekend, and it's going to be glorious because it's week 1. Football is finally here, guys.
I'll tell you what, Joe, Chili, there's some interesting games. There's some business, right? There's some business games. Apps game versus East Tennessee State, Marshall versus Stony Brook, Ark State versus Central Arkansas. Those are business games. Louisiana Grambling, Texas State Lamar. Those are business games, right? Conference members should win those games, take care of business. But there are some intriguing matchups, though. Boise at Georgia Southern, ODU at South Carolina, Nevada at Troy, Georgia State, Georgia Tech. Does Georgia Tech still ride that high coming out of Dublin, bubbling in Dublin with the Jackets, right? Do they come out of there riding high? They crash hard with the state of Georgia Panthers, right? I'm just teeing those up for our picking to the end. Joe Chili, what are some games that stick out? I know it touched on. What's one or two that go, man, I'm gonna monitor this one all 4 quarters? What's one or two that you're gonna keep checking it, or maybe watch?
I like Boise State, Georgia Southern. I think that's a very fascinating game in terms of how the G5 landscape gets off to its start in 2024 and may have some sort of bearing to it eventually in the college football playoff, right? I mean, Boise State, one of those teams picked maybe to have an inside track and maybe have a great shot at one of those spots or that spot, as it were. But that's certainly an interesting ball game we'll watch down in Statesboro. A great opportunity for Georgia Southern to get a big time win under Clay Helton as he starts his 3rd season. And then James Madison, Charlotte. Now that's a really interesting game, right? I mean, JMU, new coach, almost an entirely new roster. Charlotte with they're starting over. We'll see what they've got. It's that those are 2 games right there that I would really kind of keep an eye on. This Saturday, looking forward to those games. And again, TD, like you said, there are a lot of business games. A lot of Sun Belt members should take care of business in, but there are some that the Sun Belt's going to be a pretty heavy underdog, I would say. Georgia State going 4 miles up the street, to take on Georgia Tech. And then, of course, you've got Southern Miss going to Kentucky, not thinking Southern Miss really. Who knows, though? It's first weekend. No, nobody knows what anybody has. Who knows? But it's a great slate of games, I think, to open up the first full weekend of the college football season, which, of course, we had our picks last week. I went 3-1. TD, I think you went 3-1. So we have the early leg up on Chili, as it were.
Well, it's that way every year. I'm always, like I said, I'm 1 game behind one of you two every week, and those games mount up. But don't worry. I'm going to take the Ricky Bobby approach to this, and I'm just going to ride behind Joe. And then in the very last week, TD, I'm going to slingshot him, shake and bake, Chili's going to win the pick'em this
I
year.
like it, man. I like it. And some intriguing games too, Chili, that I saw.
Yeah.
To me, Joe, Chili, I think this is an early separation week. We could look back at this 5 weeks from now, 10 weeks from now, 12th week at this, if you will, and look back on some of these games, some of these intriguing games. And Boise obviously sticks out, to Joe's point. Old Dominion, South Carolina. But, we've got 4 or 5 business games, but North Texas at South Alabama. There's another opportunity for the Sun Belt to separate itself from other non-P5, P4 conferences, right? Like Troy beating Nevada, South Al beating North Texas, Coastal beating Jacksonville State. These are games that, frankly, need to happen because that way we can create some early separation with some of these what are perceived to be peer conferences. They need to take care of what they can, and it's interesting too. Boise State at Georgia Southern, they're giving the Eagles basically 13. Old Dominion, South Carolina is a 3 touchdown difference, but Central Arkansas versus Arkansas State is only a 10-point difference. That right there is interesting. Same thing with North Texas, 5.5 is the spread. It's James Madison, Charlotte. It's only a 9.5 spread. That tells you right there. The boys out there in the desert are watching this thing like we are, trying to figure out who's doing what, how good can they do it, how fast can they get real good, right? That's what they're trying to figure out. Because some of these spreads, I think, are going to shift after week 1 when they figure out who can and who can't real quick.
Yeah, I got one game that stands out to me, and I'm kind of surprised no one said it yet, and that's I think the game of the weekend is our game. I think we have the best game coming up. I think it was a 2.5 point spread coming into this, with Jack State being the favorite. But 2.5 points is one play. If you really think about it, that's a field goal, that's a big pass play, whatever difference in a game. That's very tight, guys. I think our games might be the game of the weekend.
I think it certainly stands a chance to be, if not the best, certainly one of the best. I mean, hopefully we are going to get into this game a little bit more as we track through tonight's pod. But I mean, just think. I mean, this could be a big one as we lead into the big
one right
here tonight.
I mean, this Joe Chili. I feel like this pod finally got a little golden. All of a sudden, it felt maybe it got a little bronzy feeling, boys.
Yeah.
Did y'all just feel? I feel very Olympic all of a sudden.
I think the bronze medal is the one that a coastal person is the most appropriate to win, would be a bronze medal.
But gold works too, right? I mean, gold is pretty cool.
Gold is good.
Gold is good.
Both are in the house. I mean,
Strut Nation, please welcome Melissa Jefferson, gold medalist, bronze medalist in the Paris Olympics. Melissa, we're so happy to have you, but even more so, we're so proud of what you've done, individually, as well as what notoriety you've brought to Coastal here. Welcome to the Strut. We are so happy to have you.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here. Sorry for my tardiness. I had some internet stuff.
Hey, look, it's okay to be tardy to the Strut.
Yeah.
You weren't tardy in Paris, though. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
No worries.
So you're saying you were running late? Is that what you were saying?
I was running late.
Man.
Which never happens.
Right.
That's right.
Almost never happens.
First for her, Chili, Joe. First for her.
That's okay.
I tell you what, how exciting is this, man, to have an Olympian, a Chanticleer, someone that grew up in the area over in Carver's Bay. Now, Melissa, did you go to CB?
Yeah.
Did you go to CB?
Yes, I did.
In Carver's Bay, so I grew up here in Conway, and I've taken 261 to Highway 41 to go out hunting Andrews for a ton of years. But where actually over in the Carver's Bay area did you grow up? Which of those communities, or was it in Carver's Bay?
So I was on the Georgetown side of Carver's Bay. So I was I grew up in the Dunbar community.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. and for those that don't know, Highway 41 separates Williamsburg County from
County Line Road.
Yep.
That's County Line Road right there. And County Line Road separates Williamsburg and Georgetown County.
Yep.
So pretty cool. But what an honor. What an honor.
Melissa, just as a heads up, I was in Andrews for 4 years as a football, basketball, and track coach. So I know all about Highway 41. I know about going out to Carver's Bay. It was not a fun trip on Friday night football games. I can guarantee you that. That is not a fun place to go to if you're an opponent.
Oh, no, it's not.
So I have to ask, I'll start off with the first question, Melissa, and we kind of just go, around the horn here, so to speak. I'll start us off. When you get to Paris, and I watched the opening ceremonies, were you on the boat and did you get starstruck?
So I was actually on the boat. It's crazy because I almost didn't go to opening ceremony. And then my mom was like, "No, you can't miss out on that. Like, this is your first one. You gotta experience it all." But I was just concerned about like how much I was concerned about how much walking we would have to do or potentially have to do. And it was like, I know we were going to be on the boat and everything, but then I was like, it was the getting to the shuttle place and getting to the actual start of the opening ceremony, and then getting from going on the boat or being on the boat for however long, and then getting off the boat, walking to where you're supposed to go to actually get back to the village. And so all my teammates were like, "Oh, well, we're going." So I'm like, "Well, I don't want to be the all ball out, so I guess I'll go too." So I ended up going, and I was on the boat, and it did start raining. So I was like, "Oh man, that sucks." But I mean, hey, everybody else is out here. I was just like, it is what it is at this point. And so I will say this: I wish I would have done it a little differently. I wish I would have stayed like on the first level, on the bottom level of the boat, and had just been in that inside part, and then come out when we were actually going to be on TV. Because by the time it was time for us to come on TV, my social media was like, "Oh, I'm tired. I'm ready to go home now." Yeah, but it was a really good experience. It was great. I loved every moment of it.
Melissa, I got to ask this: watching your race, right, where you won the bronze. I mean, you're a national champion. You've run in front of big crowds before, but what is it like when you're out there? And this is the Olympics. This is the ultimate stage for you in your sport. This is the ultimate stage.
Yep.
The place is rocking. Had to be loud as all get out, and you're looking around going, "Wow." I mean, did you have a moment just to take all of that in and just kind of appreciate the moment?
Yeah, I had a little bit of a moment right after the first round of the 100. So crazy enough, the morning of my prelim race was my first time actually stepping foot on, like, at the venue. So the warm up track and the track itself. And so when I came out there and I saw all those people out there at 11 o'clock in the morning, I was like, "Excuse me? Like, what is going on here?" Like, I'm not used to this. And so the one thing my coach did tell us, though, before he told me, TT, and Shakari, he was just like, "When you go out there, whatever you do not look up into the crowd." And so I was like, "Oh, I hear how loud it is in here, so I don't need to necessarily see how many people it is. I'll wait until after the race is over." So I literally waited until the race was over, and I was trying to find where to walk up and go through the mix zone and everything. And I really looked, and I was like, "Wow, this is a lot of people in here."
Melissa, to dovetail into what Chile and Jove asked about the overall experience, what was one thing that you got to do that you wanted to make sure you're obviously winning the bronze, winning the gold, like medaling and representing your country, but what was one thing that Melissa Jefferson said, before I get on this flight and I go over there to Paris, what's one thing I want to do, maybe non-athletic, and then what's the other thing that maybe surprised you when you got over there? You were like, "Oh, wow," like you were kind of just in awe of. What were those two kind of experiences for you?
For me, it was meeting certain people and, like, at least saying, like, "Hey, can I get a picture with you?" Or even having the opportunity to have certain conversations with people. I don't know if you saw it. You probably did, but I got a picture with LeBron James. So it was crazy. That picture alone has a funny story. So because he was one of the flag bearers for the opening ceremony, and so we were waiting on him to arrive, and he had walked through the village, and he actually walked into the room that I was in, and they went into the back to, like, crown him flag bearer, like put the sash on them and everything. But when he walked through, I just had a moment where I was like starstruck, like, oh my gosh, it's actually him. Like, he's actually real. This is really happening. Like, I'm really at, and it was like everything just hit me at once. Like, oh my gosh, I'm really at the Olympics. Like, this is kind of crazy. And my friend Titi, or my training partner, she was actually walking in right behind him, and she said, I'm gonna get my picture. I'm gonna get my picture. And so she went back there and asked him to take a picture. He's like, yeah, let's do it. So I actually took their picture. She was like, go ahead, ask him. So then he had actually stopped to take pictures with a few other people, but then right when I was about to ask him to take a picture, he was like, okay, that's going to be my last one. And then he was going to walk out. So I didn't want to be that person, be like, I literally just hear him say he wasn't going to take any more pictures and then proceed to ask him to take a picture. And then he tells me no. And I'm like heartbroken. Like, oh my gosh, LeBron didn't want to take a picture with me. And so after that, I called my fiance Roland, and he was like all geeked or whatever because he saw TT's picture, and he's normally like he's really the LeBron fanatic. So I felt like the way I reacted in that moment was how he would react if he saw LeBron. And so he realized I didn't get a picture with him. He was like, "Lock in, Melissa. Like, come on." You. So we walked outside and we ended up seeing him again. And TT was like, "Melissa, there he is. Like, just go ahead, just ask for it." And so I got close enough to him, and then I tapped him and I was like, "Hey, do you mind if we take a picture?" He's like, "Come on, let's do it." And then we took the picture.
That's great.
That was
awesome.
one of my most moments of where I was like, that was definitely on my bucket list. So it was more so just about seeing different people and taking pictures with them.
I bet that was amazing to have that USA across your chest too. I wanted that. I mean, how cool is that?
It's always an honor. Like even 2 years ago when I made the World Championships team, I put the uniform on because they normally let us, when we go to team process, and try on the uniforms. And when I put it on, I just had a sense of like, it sounds kind of cheesy and patriotic, but I had a sense of responsibility or something. And so like this time around doing it at the Olympics, it was like I was kind of used to having that USA on my chest, but then it was also different because like everybody was there or everybody was watching. Like I was just looking at maybe like the other sports where you had Jason Kelsey and Serena Williams watching Simone Biles and winning and watching them win the team gold medal. And it's just stuff like that. Like, wow. Like it's not just people out here who like track that are watching. It's everyone.
So my question for you is kind of related to that. While you're in Paris, I know you're on a very strict schedule as far as training, getting ready for your races and heats and all that kind of stuff. But did you get a chance to really get out and see much of Paris while you were there? If you did, what stood out to you about Paris itself?
So I got to do a little bit of sightseeing, and it was actually just the right amount for me because, well, it's like, yes, it's the Olympics and yes, it's Paris. So, you know, you want to go out and see everything. But at the same time, I'm here to do a job. And so I didn't do much of sightseeing until I did some maybe a couple days before we had to race. And then everything else was afterwards, after the relay. So I got an opportunity to see the Louvre, or I got an opportunity to go to the Louvre, which it was a good experience. However, I felt like I was robbed of it because there was a mix up with us having a tour guide. So by the time we got in there and it got situated and everything, the Louvre was going to close in like 30 minutes. And the Louvre they said it takes about 2 weeks to tour the whole Louvre. So 30 minutes is all of nothing. So I'm just in there, and I'm that person, like I don't have a lot of backstory or just background information on the Louvre and everything in there and what it's really about. So I'm that person, like I need a tour guide. So I, have a sense of what's actually going on. But I would say the Louvre is probably the thing that stuck out to the most to me. And then really I realized about Paris how much they have in common with New York. Paris, France is literally New York City in the United States.
So, Melissa, take us back to the race itself. I'm fascinated by this. I mean, you're over in 10 seconds. I mean, 10, 11 seconds, this thing is over.
Yep.
So, I mean, you go out there. I mean, the final, here it is. I mean, everything is up for stake in this race.
Mm-hmm.
Take us through that race, and whatever it is that you feel, whatever you're seeing, and then when you look up and you know that you've medaled, the first Chanticleer to get an Olympic medal,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, if any of that even sinks in, just take us through that. I'm fascinated by kind of what you're seeing and feeling as you went through that race and realized what you'd accomplished.
Yeah. So that morning when I woke up, I was actually quite calm. I felt like it was one of those things where the meet that day was kind of like an afterthought to me. It's like, oh, I got a race today. It wasn't a lot of like pressure or anything. I was just really like in a really, relaxed state. And which I've been there before, good and bad. So it was kind of like, okay, I'm in this relaxed state, but I don't want to be too relaxed. And so after the semifinals, when I won my heat and I got back to the warm-up area, I just remember being on the table and getting worked on and just telling myself over and over in my head, like, you will not leave here tonight disappointed. No matter how that looks. Obviously, you want to go out there and win gold. But in a sense, I feel like I still won. My bronze medal for me is a gold medal. I feel like I walked away from Paris with 2 gold medals. And the race itself, it was raining. And so I had to throw that out the window like, hey, it's raining for everybody. So, we've literally been training for this moment right here. And I'm not going to let rain get in the way of me, achieving what it is that I want to achieve. And so when the gun went off, I remember getting out, and it was a point in the race where I could see Julian like full blown in front of me. So I'm just like, okay, Melissa, don't panic. Just get to the line and make sure you're top 3. Like at this point, just make sure. It was like I could vividly see her in front of me. So I'm just like, make sure you're one of these next 2 spots. And so I crossed the line, and Julian's going all crazy and everything. And then my other training partner names pops up, Shakari. And so I'm like, okay, where's the 3rd spot? Like, it has to be me. It has to be me. It needs to be me for my sanity. And so when my name popped up, I just like screamed, and I was just like, like, yes. I'm like, all I could feel in that moment was just relief. Like, I was just happy. All the decisions that I made leading up to that very moment, like, I feel like it was all worth it. All the sacrifices, just the hardship and everything that I had to go through this year. It was like it wasn't all for nothing. And it was definitely like a very satisfying and relieving moment for me, but it was also kind of bittersweet because, I wanted my other teammate to be up there with us too. But at the end of the day, I can still say I came to Paris and I did what needed to be done, and I'm proud of that.
Well, we're proud of you too. I mean, social media went crazy.
Yeah.
I was watching the race live, and it was like, "Hey, shot a clear medal. We got something. Yeah, all right." It was awesome.
Yep.
I'll tell you what, as a former student athlete, and also someone like you that grew up, what I call within arm's reach of the university, right? I grew up here in Conway.
Mm-hmm.
I can't carry a fingernail to what you are in your career, so no comparison. But it is inspiring. It is exciting, and we're so proud of you. I mean, as someone who grew up here, who was a student athlete at Coastal, these guys are either alums or, like Joe covered it, still covering it 22 years now. I don't know if proud, Melissa, is a way to convey the entirety of what Teal Nation and again, that logo, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you go through an airport, or you go to a gas station, or you go to a wherever, you got that logo on your chest or a hat or a bandana, whatever.
Yeah.
It's the back of your car. It's getting a lot more notoriety, and it's getting it because, yes, football and baseball, but a lady like yourself who grew up in this area, who wore that Chanticleer, won a national championship, and then went to Paris. Again, words can't put in nor describe how proud we are of you.
Thank you.
Melissa, we got time for one more question here, and I'm going to kind of bring it full circle.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me, just in your own words, as you're standing on the podium and you're playing the national anthem after you get the gold medal, can you tell me what's going through your mind there?
after the relay and we got on the podium and they were playing the national anthem, I was really just like, it's crazy because I spent the last 10 months waiting for this exact moment right here. And then on that podium, I had a moment where I was just like, it's gone. Like, this is it. Like, you worked your butt off for this moment right here. And in the blink of an eye, it's over. So all you can do now is just cherish it as much as you can. So that time hearing the national anthem play, I definitely was emotional. And it was just like, this time around when I was running the relay, it wasn't coming from a place of, I wasn't going to leave here empty handed. It was coming from a place of, even though you didn't get the bronze and you still feel like you won, you deserve to leave here with a gold medal, because everything you've done this year, every decision you made, all the people who I won't say I, carry everybody on my back, but it's just like the sense of responsibility and the love and support that I get from everyone back home, Georgetown, Dunbar, Coastal, literally everyone. It's like, I want for the things that I go out there and I'm able to do, like, I want that to speak volume for not only just who I am as a person, but what can be from places where we come from. I went to Carver's Bay High School. It wasn't the biggest high school around. I went to Coastal Carolina. It's not the biggest D1 school around. And just just me being able to be an example of, not letting your situations define who you are or what you can be, and just continuing to fight and literally do things and find ways by any means necessary. It just makes me happy. And I'm happy that, God chose me to be the person to be able to sit on podcasts and talk to you guys and, hear from you guys about how proud you are, and let other people hear my story, and just knowing that, there's more people to come like me. It's not just me, I'm one of many, but there's way more coming down the line, and I can't wait to see, what this does for the community as a whole.
I got one last quick one, Melissa, before we let you go. Do you happen to have either one of those medals around and handy? Okay. Or if you don't,
I do, but how much time do you have? Because it's literally right now. I can go grab it.
Oh, we got time.
Okay.
We can wait.
Yeah,
we can wait.
Time, guys.
We can wait.
We gotta get medals on the pod, right? We gotta see these things, right?
While she runs downstairs, how's I can't, Joe, you're great at words. Chili, love you, but this is what I mean. It's, no disrespect to Chili and I, but like Joe, you 20 plus years of college sports, man. How do you encapsulate what she just said, man?
It stands for itself. I mean, it's she's just
Chili. You ready to take a picture, dude?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We got to get a picture. Chili.
Look at that.
Yes, we do.
Hey, Melissa, hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Maddox, Paxton, y'all, come on. Addison, come here if you can sit real quick. Come here, look.
Is it the gold medals?
It's the gold bronze.
It's the gold medals.
Look.
Paxton, come here.
Come here,
Melissa,
dude.
can you hold them a little close together, maybe? Like.
Yeah.
There you go.
Come here, dude.
Whoa. Look at the medals.
Look at that.
Look at her medal right there.
That's a gold and bronze medal.
Yeah.
From the
Olympics.
From the Olympics. Let's go, bro.
Did you hear Paxton? Let's go, bro.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
So proud of you, Melissa. Just can't even describe it. That's just awesome.
Hey, thank you. Well, my kids are celebrating background from all of us. Hey, thank you for what you've done, what you've accomplished, and here's to 2028.
Oh yeah, we're just.
Oh yes, you heard it here first, y'all. 2028.
Los Angeles too. Los Angeles.
LA.
Yep.
Awesome. Awesome.
Well, Melissa, we appreciate you coming by, and everything you said tonight was amazing. I don't want to say it was golden, but it really, really was. And to be quite honest with you, that just hearing your story, and like TD was recapping when you walked away, and Joe was talking about it too, I have to echo what they said. And what you said stands alone as just what someone can do from a small community, small university, and accomplish big things. It only takes one person to make the decision, and you did it. And like you said, God did it through you, and we're just so proud of you as not only as alumni and people on the podcast, but just as a human being. What a great accomplishment for you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us, Melissa. We're going to let you go. You're welcome back anytime you want to come by and see us.
Okay. And I'll actually be home. I'll be I'm going to come to the game when they play Virginia, September 21st.
Nice.
We will all be there.
Yeah, I don't know if you know it, but the Myrtle Beach, the city of Myrtle Beach, they're doing a track clinic at Duckshaw that same day. So yeah, I'll be in town helping with that.
Very good.
Awesome. Well, hey,
That's awesome.
that's awesome.
That's a lot of the radio guys. Maybe they get you on the radio broadcast that night or
Man,
something.
how awesome would that be, too? Man, bring us a little golden luck on that night versus. Look, we are going to play off of this the entire podcast, right?
Rest of the show.
Rest of the show, man. We're going to play off of gold. I mean, bronze is beautiful, but golden is forever, baby.
Your full metal Chants here.
Melissa, thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Melissa. Guys, let's take a minute and thank our sponsor, Dan Sign Realty, CCU class of 2001. Dan Sign at Dunes Realty Sales is real estate done right. 128 Atlantic Avenue, Murrells Inlet, www.dansignrealtor.com, toll free 888-889-9312.
If you're looking for a place to get some good grub and watch the game, it's Hanley's Pub, CCU class of 2002, the official pub of the Strud Podcast, located in Carolina Forest. We will CC you at your local pub, Hanley's in Carolina Forest, 3873 Renee Drive, Myrtle Beach. You can call them at 843-903-4904. We will CC you at your local pub, Hanley's in Carolina Forest.
Dr. David Turner, Coastal Class of 97 of Impact Chiropractic. He's been practicing in Conway for 20 years. Dr. Turner believes in a proactive, wellness-based approach to achieving optimal health and function for the entire family. At Impact Chiropractic, we work hard to grow healthy kids rather than fix damaged adults. 210 Singleton Ridge Road in Conway, impactchiro.com, 843-347-9103.
When you think of Coastal, when you think of marketing, think of Coastal Marketing and Bob Baldwin, CCU class of 2011. Go see Bob Baldwin down there, located on 475 Sandy Lane, Suite A, Surfside Beach, or give him a shout at 843-349-4848, or visit him on his website at coastalmarketinggraphics.com. If you're looking for some fun outdoors, think about Coastal Outdoors and Myrtle Beach Family Golf, owned and operated and managed by Coastal alumni. Golf fun for everyone. They have 4 mini golf facilities and 1 driving range. Captain Hook's Adventure Golf, Jungle Safari, Jurassic Golf, Shipwreck Island Adventure Golf, and Cane Patch Driving Range. Again, golf fun for everyone.
And we're clear. Olympian.
Dude, how awesome was that, man? Joe, I'm going to put you on the spot, but like you said, I mean, I think her words convey and illustrate and frame it up well. But, I mean, we've had – just think about all the people we've had on this podcast, man. I mean, it's special.
TD, do you remember who the first guest ever was?
Oh, man.
This is a good question. Joe, see if he gets this one right.
The first guest we ever had, it was a player, wasn't it?
No, it was Joe. Joe stuck around.
Oh, that's right, Joe.
You got
That's
Joe
right.
Cashin.
That's right.
Joe,
Joe
we
was
were
our first
psyched.
guest.
We were psyched to get you, Joe.
Joe, you muted. I think you muted. Uh-oh.
He just didn't want. He's tired of words.
He's like, I'm out, man. I'm done with words.
There we go. Now
There
I'm
he is.
unmuted. There we go.
Joe was our
Joe,
first
you were
guest.
the first guest.
How about that? And then I stuck around. You hadn't fired me yet.
Hey.
So I appreciate that.
Look, man, we're going to talk to HR about some things, but it's I mean, think about guests real quick before we get into it. I don't want to belabor it, but a gold medalist, a national champion, to national champion baseball coach, to NFL players, to MLB. I mean, it's
It's been a good run.
It's been a good run, man. Hey, we
On
got
it
long,
goes.
And we're not done.
Oh, far from done. Far from done. But, I mean, just you get moments of, like, reflection when you have someone
Yeah.
of her prestige, but so humble. I mean,
Yeah.
think about what she's accomplished. And she's still – look, she still – she didn't lose where she came from. Dunbar, Carver's Bay, Georgetown, Coastal,
Yep.
Olympian, right? I mean, if that Joe Chill, if that doesn't give you the golden ticket to go further,
Uh-oh.
all
There it is.
I'm done. So hey, we've got another guest coming on here soon, but we got to start
About
talking.
7 minutes.
About-
And we got Jacksonville State coming up tomorrow. Whenever they see Thursday night is when they'll see this. But
That's
know.
right. We
Yeah.
got to start talking about Jack State, Chili.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and kick us off. Jacksonville State, guys, is nestled between Birmingham and Atlanta, and they're known, and they give themselves this name, that they are the friendliest campus in the South. They have an enrollment of just over 9,000, pushing maybe 9,700. TD, their mascot name. Do you know what the mascot's name is for Jacksonville State?
Well, first of all, they're the opposite of Crappalachian Stanks campus. When you go up there, they are not the nicest campus, but their mascot is a yard bird that fights.
Yes. But do you know his name?
Cocky.
It is Cocky. Jacksonville State's Gamecock mascot is named Cocky. Jacksonville State is coached by Rich Rodriguez. Last year they went 9-4, 6-2 in conference. Our series with them is tied at 1-1. We won last year, 30-16. One guy that I came across as far as standout players go is their guard Clay Webb.
Ooh.
He's on the Senior Bowl watch list, Lombardi watch list, second team preseason USA Today, and Sporting News. They have a new defensive coordinator in Luke Olson.
Mm-hmm.
He was an analyst at TCU last year, and he spent 11 years prior at Tulsa, and he was a defensive coordinator for one season there. Isn't this Trickett Bowl Part 1, 2024 edition?
I think his dad is still there, yes.
Okay.
I think Joe's
put
right?
that in there too.
It's the only Trickett Bowl this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Year. And I'm gonna break down. His scheme here in a second when it comes to defense.
Okay. Last thing I have, and I'll turn it over to you guys, is looking at last year's stats. This is pretty tight. Coastal had 399 yards total offense. Jacksonville State had 393. And like I was saying earlier, I think this game is going to be much closer than last year. I think this might be the Sun Belt game of the week in terms of competitiveness goes. So there's Jacksonville State, fellas.
Joe, I think you had a few things that you wanted to key up before I touched on it, unless you want me to go ahead.
I mean, you can start to go into yours, if you want to.
Yeah, I'm going to pop off a few things right here real quick. So defensively, Chili, thank you for teeing that up. The new DC came from Tulsa, TCU. Interesting enough, though, nothing should change because you remember they were in a 3-3-5 last year, right? So that's something they're going to run this year is a 3-3-5. I know he's a new DC, but Coach Olson's only been in a 3-3-5 system from his time at Tulsa to his time at TCU to now at Jack State, a 3-3-5. Joe, Chili, you'll recognize his name, and some names are folks that are new to Coastal but may not be new to college football, especially those that grew up in the South. Joe Lee Dunn. You didn't think that name was going to come up on the Strut podcast, but Joe Lee Dunn is credited as the father of the 3-3-5 defense when he was at Memphis State and Mississippi State. It's a defense that is derived from pressure and athletic defenders. It's a 3 defensive lineman, 3 linebacker, 5 DB. Some are called bandits. Some others call them other things. They want to get heavy pressure and mixed coverages. Like to play safeties back 12 to 14, sometimes 18 yards. Corners 3 to 8 yards. So think of an umbrella. Keep everything in front of them. Let their linebackers and D linemen run wild. Big, fast D line and linebackers. It's something that could give us fits, but the way that we can beat that, and again, we don't know if it's Noah Kim or if it's Vasco Tabasco wearing the new hot number 15, but the way to beat that is to get vertical on them and put pressure simultaneously on their corners or their safeties and make their linebackers get depth. Why does that matter? It pushes them out of cover 3 and it kills their cover 3. Corners also have to squeeze into seams and or safeties, again, opening the outside third of the defense. One way to attack it, which is something we did last year, is trips, getting trips to the wide side field, if you remember, Sam last year was singled out on the backside. He had a couple big plays. You remember that, Joe? Chili early in the game had a couple big passes. So trips in some form, whether that you go, kind of a triangle trips or just trips out wide with a tight end H-back, someone like that. But you got to get trips. The whole point is you got to get them with only 5 players in the box. Remember, that new box is 5 yards outside the end line of scrimmage, about 10, 12 yards deep. Offensively, it's Rich Rod. Dude, he wants to make you absolutely pass out, right? One thing they're trying to do is run as many plays as fast as possible. He absolutely hates it if they get below about 15, 18 seconds. Now, what's going to be an advantage, doing this quick, that's going to help Rich Rod out is, guess what? You see these headphones that we got on right now? They got them in the QB's headset too. They got the headphones. Now the earpiece is in the quarterback's helmet. He talked about it on a recent press conference where now they want to be 5 seconds faster. They're going to try to snap the ball even faster than they did last year because they can relay the play to the quarterback and immediately get it out. So folks are not aware of that. Remember, there's a 2-minute warning or 2-minute timeout, wherever they want to call it. Also, audio in the helmets for one offensive, one defensive player. 15 seconds before the play clock ends, no communications are allowed. So, to Chili's point, Clay Webb found out. He started at UGA, transferred. He's actually projected out as a day 1, day 2 draft pick. Also fun, Joe, you'll love this. He has a flip phone still. Seriously, he really does. He talked about it in the press conference. Doesn't own an iPhone. Doesn't like social media. Ron Wiggins missed 5 games last year, but he was the MVP of the bowl game versus the culture. He's coming back. Anwar Lewis missed 4 games, going to be your backup. University of Georgia transfer Andrew Paul also looks to be a part of that. Again, O-line strength, I talked about this a little earlier. I was talking with Joe about some things. Dude, their right side is like 6'8" and 6'8", 330 or better. Massive right side, Chili. Clay Webb's part of that. Dawson, Ray Guy list. Sean Brown, all-conference tight end. He is their secret weapon. They're going to go to him because they have 3 quarterbacks, Smothers, Huff, and Turner. Smothers came from Nebraska. Huff came from Furman, and Turner came from UConn. Plus, they have 5 other quarterbacks. They're in the same position we are. They're not going to name a starter until you see them on the field. They got like 60 transfers in and/or new kids. But I've touched on how we beat offensively. Defensively, keep Rich Rod's offense in front of you and make them not nickel and dime you, but onesie-twosies. What I mean by that is keep them to 3, 4, 5 yards. Make them get into 3rd and long, 2nd and long. Try to get an early 1 or 2 down sack, maybe a coverage sack. A coverage sack's not a bad thing. They're going to try to attack the corners and then get downfield. We've got to keep them between the tackles and keep them 8 yards or less in any passes. You do that, we got a real quality chance of taking care of business in Alabama tomorrow night.
That's good stuff. And we are hopefully going to get our next guest in here very shortly. Just a quick history note as to how many times we've actually played in the state of Alabama. Hadn't been many, only 7 so far. We're 2-5 all time in the state. First loss that we ever had, first game we ever played was down there in 2016 against Jack State. We lost 27-26, one of the oddest games that I've ever watched. One of the oddest games I ever called, quite frankly. We lost 2 quarterbacks for the season and for their careers that day. Lost, again, by 1 point. We've lost, obviously, we lost at UAB. We lost a couple of times at Troy, lost at South Alabama. We won at Troy and we won at South Alabama 1 time each. So the guys are on the ground getting ready for this game tonight in Alabama. So this will be the 8th time we've ever played over there. I'm kind of waiting to see. We get our next guest in here, talk a little bit about our offense against, what we want to do. There's so many new faces on our offense this year, so many, right? I mean, we've got so many new playmakers on the outside, a couple of running backs that we've seen, but then, 2 new guys. And, Coach has talked about a lot about them in the press conference. No, not a lot, but I mean, he has kind of filled in some blanks a little bit here as we've gotten into the run up for this game. Obviously, I think one of the big storylines around this for us is who's going to start. Who's going to start at quarterback, right? Is it Vasco or is it Kim? And I don't have any inside baseball on this. I haven't spoken with anyone inside the organization. I really don't know. But if I had to roll the dice right now and you had to, you hold my feet to the fire on something, I would say Vasco starts. I think Vasco starts this game, and only because And maybe not only because, but I think primarily because, that's probably a better way to phrase it, primarily because he has experience with this coaching staff and in this culture, in this offense. He went 3-1 as a starter last year, and he protected the football. You heard Coach Beck in his appearance here on the show talk about how quarterbacks have to protect the ball. Just get it in the hands of the playmakers. Don't lose the game, right? And that's what Vasco did a great job of last season. So if I had to say right now who runs out there to start this game, will be Ethan Vasco. But I think we will also see Noah Kim in this thing, unless Vasco gets off to such a great start that it would be foolish to take him out. I mean, if we're rolling up and down the field, putting points on the board, right, he can't come out. We got to leave him out there. I think we see Noah Kim in this game too, because we bring that kid in for a reason, right? We want to see what he's got. Let's see what he's got under fire out there. And I think if we're kind of, we're a little bit okay on offense, but we're struggling a little bit. We're here and there, hit and miss. We'll see both quarterbacks in this game until, the coaching staff can decide on, who is the guy. Because I've never been a fan of, rotating quarterbacks. I think if you've got two, you don't have any, honestly. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. And then I think on defense, we've got to find a way, like TD said, to try to slow them down a little bit. I think what's underrated about Jack State too offensively, how good they were at running the ball last year. They talk about snapping the ball and flinging it around. They were one of the top rushing offenses in FBS last season, right? I mean, so it's not necessarily them just throwing the ball all over the place. They'll move it how they need to move it, matriculate the ball down the field. And a lot of our new defensive players, a lot of our new defenders, kind of like last year, we were able to plug and play a bunch of guys, and they worked out. Hopefully, the same thing will work, tomorrow night in this game and going forward. As we now introduce Chili, I'll give you the honor of doing the introduction.
I was actually going to let you do it, Joe.
No, Joe, go ahead. Go ahead,
Joe.
Joe.
Okay, then. I haven't seen this gentleman. Well, I saw him last year, and he tried to reach out and get in touch with me. I had a wrong phone, right? I mean, we met each other in 2016 down in Jacksonville, and that was a heck of a game. Mike, I was just talking about it, 27-26 at Jacksonville in 2016. Mike Parris, longtime voice of the Gamecocks, 42nd year. Is that correct,
Wow.
Mike?
Oh, man, that's all that means, brother. I'm old.
Well, we appreciate you hopping on with us tonight here on the Strut to talk a little Coastal and Jack State. But, yeah, Mike's been there a long time, just one of the great voices in college football, college athletics. And, Mike, thanks again so much spending a few minutes with us night before the game.
Yeah. So
as you're getting ready for this thing, you've had a chance to go through the preseason and see all the new guys. We know that Jack State's got a bunch. We've got a bunch. What are your thoughts initially as you look at this matchup?
You know as much as I do about it, probably, man. I tell you, we have, according to Rich Rod, it's 62 new guys is what we've got. And I was just talking to Ray Hammett, my color analyst, a little bit ago before I joined you guys. Defensively, there's outside of J-Rock, Swain, and Lelete Hale, all the guys are new, really. Got a couple of the defensive backs that have spent some time with us, but it is a whole new world on defense. You got a new DC and several, two new assistants, I guess, on that side of the football as well. 3 new assistants on that side of the football. Guy that had been helping with the offense, special teams coordinator. Now he's coaching on defense too. So I really don't know what to expect. We were last year with Zach Alley, who is now taking his talent in building defenses to Oklahoma. We were aggressive. We'd come after you. And we got better throughout the year after we played you guys, quite honestly. And, we're going to be similar to that, but I just don't know how much we attack. And personnel-wise, I think we'll see a lot of folks for us tomorrow night. I really do.
Mike, it's Travis here. It's someone I just did a little bit of a breakdown prior to when you coming on. Y'all are in a similar boat that Coastal is, frankly, right? So Rich and Tim, Tim Beck, respectful our coach, they're trying to announce a starter. Joe, I'm like Joe. We believe Ethan Vasco would be the starter again because he was 3-1 in the last 4 games last year. He's kind of, like Joe said, earned, if you will, that opportunity until it's taken away. But if y'all are the same boat we are, 40, 50, 60 new guys, that's the way, unfortunately, right now. If you're not one of those top 25, top 40 programs, you're going to have a third to almost half your roster turnover for whatever reason, good, bad, or indifferent. What are some things? And I looked into Rich Rod, some of the YouTube videos y'all putting out through press. He said, look, we've got some seniors that really laid out. Seniors that are new to us, but seniors that have come up to the program and laid out culture, laid out the understanding of how Jackson State plays football. Can you touch on some of that? I mean, you got some great guys in your program. Can you touch on that a little bit about culture and, again, expectations?
First of all, my dream is to ride off into the Hawaiian sunset like Joe did last year. So,
Yeah, that wasn't much of a better way to go out than that one, I got to admit.
and with everything that's going on, I've talked to some older guys too in the last few weeks. I'm sort of glad I'm on the back end of this right now because it's all just. I mean, this is going to be, and it's not just football; it's every sport. I mean, baseball. We're probably going to have 30 new guys in baseball this year out of a 35-man roster, 36-man roster. Anyway, some of the seniors. Clay Webb's the guy. He started his career at Georgia. It's his third year in our program. He's getting a lot of love. Several watch lists, offensive line. He's Senior Bowl watch list. He's not a vocal guy, but he's a tough guy, and I think that tends, leadership there. Sean Brown's a young man. He actually played more defense in high school than he played offense. He's from roughly 45 minutes from campus, from Rome, Georgia, signed at Tennessee. Redshirted up there his first year, played at tight end, and he's been terrific. He's a guy that provides a lot of leadership. Jay Rockswain's a local product from 10 miles, 15 miles from campus, and a guy who's played. He's probably undersized, quite honestly, to play at the FBS level. I just want to look it up and see. Sorry. We list him at 5'10". I bet he's not a tick above 5'8", quite honestly.
Shoes,
solid,
Mike,
I mean,
shoes. Remember the spikes that make you taller? I remember those days. They make you taller. I was always
He is.
5'10". I'm 5'9" and a half.
He is rock solid though, and he's played outside most of his career, but I think he's going to move inside some with the new DC. Those are the guys I think, quite honestly, providing leadership. We don't have. I don't know that we've got a vocal guy right now. That's another thing. Now, Rich Rod can be vocal, very, very much. Most of the time, he is. In fact, if you could hear my post-game interview after the game in Conway last year, you would understand what I'm talking about. So, it's an interesting question you bring up. We've got some guys with experience. In fact, we got, several 6-year guys, with a red shirt, and you got COVID in there and everything as well. But we don't have that demonstrative guy, I'll say, or vocal guy. So it'd be interesting to see how that plays out, especially the first part of the season, then over the year.
Mike, my question for you is, who is it that Jacksonville State is talking about that's on Coastal's roster?
The one thing that Rich Rod has talked about is just the collective group defensively, the way you guys, pretty much shut us down, I think, for a while last year till we got some things figured out. I don't know he's talked about any individuals per se. I'm sure if the guy that's at North Carolina State was still there, that'd be one name we'd be talking about right now. But he really he talked about the game last year and some of the big plays you guys had. But the thing he has talked about is defensively, the way you guys got to the football as a group, the way you got after it, and that sort of thing. Yeah, he really hadn't thrown out individual names. I'll put it that way. And again, some of that goes back to just like us. You lost a bunch of guys too last year, or after last year.
Yeah.
Mike, what's the mood around campus coming off the first FBS season? You guys won 9 games. You beat Louisiana. Thank goodness. I'm so happy for that. I'm so happy you guys won that
culture.
Game.
The culture.
Couldn't happen to a better bunch, right? You guys won that bowl game. You won 9 last year. What's the mood around campus going into this second season of FBS?
There's a lot of excitement. We have it's not a field house anymore. It's a football complex is what it is. But that was, last year they really didn't have a home. Football didn't. They were having a dress and outside the stadium at the old basketball arena, which is adjacent to it. You had to go out of the stadium to get back in and that sort of thing. And our new facility is just wonderful. We've redone what you would call, I guess, if you want to call it the visitor side, it's opposite the home side. It's been redone. There's outdoor suites there and a terrace area like. We've put new turf in with the I guess you'd call it the ferocious, or it looks like a attacking Gamecock or Rooster or whatever. That's the new logo on the field. It's actually a logo. How about this? In all this modern technology junk, we're using a logo that was actually somebody came up with it back in like 1972 to 1974, somewhere in there. But it's an aggressive looking, he's standing up, a Gamecock kind of deal. So
Yours is
anyway,
scarier than Columbia's. Yours is way scarier than the Gamecocks in Columbia.
Yeah, that school Columbia's got nothing on y'all, Mike.
That's the one that got away from us last year that we should have won, quite honestly.
Yes,
and we were pulling for you, brother. We were pulling for you.
It's another one we're pulling for you.
Hey, there was a young man, good friend of ours, staff part of the program, that you called games back when y'all were FCS powerhouse. Spencer Goffigan, tight end.
Oh wow!
So yeah, Spencer's here in Conway. His brother and I played together here at Coastal, and his dad Walter's part of the baseball program. Works with our athletes academically. So
is his dad still there?
His dad's still working with the program as far as baseball, but Spencer was a good ball player for y'all.
Great kid. Oh, I guess I should say young man now. Everybody's a kid to me these days. But yeah, he was solid and played on some pretty good teams. And just like Sean Brown says these days, he said, all I am is another extension of the offensive line. You can call me a tight end, but I'm just a blocker up there is all I am. I was over today picking up my tickets, and I see a guy getting out of a car and walking up, and I thought, oh, it didn't even hit me. Moose Kogel's here. He'll be at the game tomorrow night. So,
when you're talking about Travis I was thinking Moose. He was the AD over there after he left here, and love Moose to death.
Got to, in fact, he ate dinner with us last year, Friday night before the game. We were up there in Conway. So, and I think we're playing in basketball this year, too, against you guys, coming up sometime in November, early in the season, I believe.
I think you're right. Did I also see that Eli Gold is joining you in the team, or what? He's joining the TV? Like, what?
He is doing video stuff, the ESPN Plus stuff that we do. We only have 2 ESPN Plus football games, but he's going to do that. He did some baseball last year, too, in the spring for us, so he's going to do that. And I think volleyball opens up. I think he's going to do the ESPN Plus for volleyball too. So
Joe and I have a soft spot for volleyball. So our daughters play it, but it's so
you have daughters that play.
He's got 2, and I've got 1. And so Mike, what are some things that you can give Coastal fans a heads up on about Jack State that maybe they're just not knowledgeable of, that maybe we should be looking to, right? Like maybe an individual, but a theme, something like that. Something, I don't want to give you don't give us, if you want to give us the insight, we'll gladly relay it to Tim and the boys, but give us what you can.
We are recording, by the way.
Yeah, we are recording. But tell us something about Jack State this year that you're like, hey, Trav, Chili Joe, be on the lookout for.
Are we talking football standpoint here? Are we?
Yeah, we're talking.
Are we going down south?
Yeah, get that big old play card like Joe used to get and flip it over and give us a one or two, something that's to look out for. Good, bad, or different.
I couldn't even get a depth chart till yesterday. So you're asking me stuff?
No kidding, Mike. Mike, I'm still helping our guys with the charting process, right? I'm still there, and they're helping me out a little bit, in the pocket. But I didn't see anything until like yesterday too. It's like, and I'm trying to pull stuff out of preseason mags, and those things are a million degrees off from what I got yesterday. It was crazy.
I thought, what is this, the U.S. versus China or Russia or something here? We protected nuclear secrets or what? But I have learned it's not just with our game. There's several places across the country where coaches aren't given depth charts, Hey, it's all, once you get out there, it doesn't matter anyway, But we need to know a little bit here. Let's see. One of the quarterbacks, Tyler Huff, I don't know if you know about him. He actually was at Presbyterian College for his first 2 years. Then he transfers, goes to Furman.
Yep.
And then he was at Furman for 3 years. He was a SoCon Player of the Year last year at Furman. He's a 6th-year guy. He's a second lieutenant in the Army Reserves, and he's married.
How about that?
That's an oddity in college football, I would say. And here's a guy. I would think this system is complex, what Rich Rod does on offense, but evidently he has gobbled up knowledge in a hurry or whatnot, because I think Logan Smothers will take the first snap, but I will not be at all surprised if Huff is out there before it's over. Or if it would be him to take first snap. He's going to play. Both those guys are going to play. We have Zion Young, who transferred from UConn. He may play. And if Rich Rod gets mad enough, we may have a fourth quarterback out there before the night's over, too. So, I don't know that we were in that mode last year because they were still trying to learn the system and whatnot, but like to play at a fast-paced tempo, one of the fastest offenses in the country last year. And I think you guys were talking about this before I joined you. A lot of people, I think, when they think Rich Rod and the wide open attack, they think throwing it down the field all the time. But now we're going to run it. That's the thing to remember. And we actually, the wide receiver room is the deepest it's been in his 3 years, and we got maybe some guys that can stretch the field more so than we've had the last 2 years or his first 2 years, whichever way you want to look at it. But we're going to run it. We lost Ron Wiggins, who was a young man. He was the MVP in the bowl game last year. He was a local kid, Jacksonville High School. He missed 5 weeks. He got hurt in the game against you guys, as a matter of fact. Yeah. And it turned out to be a little scary what happened to him. But he came back before the end of the year and then finished up with a flourish. But he's hurt. He's probably not going to play all year, quite honestly. He had surgery earlier this week. And what was a strength for Jacksonville State in the running back room, now we've taken a couple of hits there. We've got a young man who transferred from Georgia. I figure he's going to get a few more snaps tomorrow night. Andrew Paul is his name. So
you got a great tight end, though. You got a great tight end, Sean Brown, all conference. I mean, he's amazing. Big target. And we talked about him earlier.
And a great young man. I tell you, he is solid. He surprised me when he first got there. I didn't know. I think he was just trying to find his way, work his way in to fit in or whatnot. But I'm telling you, the last 2.5 years, he's been rock solid. He will surprise you, I think. He's got good hands, and he runs a little better than you think. And on the corner blocking, he is tremendous. I don't know. He may get a chance, possibly. He's got good size. He's a little bit older guy, too. And that may hurt him come, if you start talking about playing in professional football somewhere, some way, somehow. We are deep tight end. That's the spot probably that we've got 3 guys there, and they'll all 3 play, and they all block. And that's our wide receivers. If they don't block, they'll be standing on the sideline listening to Rich Rod chew on their ear or whatever, If you don't block at wide receiver for us, you won't play. I can tell you that. So
I love that. As a former receiver, I got more touchdown springing blocks than I do catches, so I appreciate that all day long.
And based on last year, I don't even know why we sent a kick team out there because we're going to fair catch everything and take it as a 25 on the kickoff. So
Mike,
I think we returned 2 kicks all last year is incredible. So.
Mike, we'll get you out of here on this. If you had to pick one storyline about tomorrow night's game, and you may have already touched on this and talked about it, if there's one storyline that really kind of jumps out to you that might be the one that decides this football game one way or the other, what would it be?
How does Jacksonville State play defensively tomorrow night? I think the whole season, to me, I've got a pretty good idea offensively, but defensively, with all the holes we've got to fill, and again, a change in the DC and most of the staff on that side of the football, I think it's how our guys all of them, the new guys as well as the old guys, how they adapt to this system and get it going, see how they handle it. I think that is the storyline. Rich Rod wants to move it fast and quick. See if he tries to slow it down a little bit, possibly. I don't know.
Well, we appreciate you jumping on with us here for a few minutes on the pod. I know you're busy, and you got a big one tomorrow night. Our radio crew will be on the scene a few hours early, and Bergen and Lane and Katz and Sam, they'll all be there setting up, and I know that you'll welcome them and do like you did with us 8 years ago. There, I mean, just as hospitable as you could be.
I was trying to remember. Oh, that was an afternoon game, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
it was. And if we'd have played another 5 minutes, I'm afraid we wouldn't have held on. I don't know. That one ended at the right time for us, probably.
But it ended, and y'all were the victor that day. I remember though about the radio booth there having that accordion window that was
let's fold back in. Yeah.
That's the most phenomenal. That's the most phenomenal thing. I've never been in one. I never was in another one after that. It's just great. I mean, you could kind of do it how you wanted to, and you're looking right on the field. It was great. So,
Fortunately, they do open, because at one time when we redid that side of the field, they weren't going to open. The windows were not going to open, but got that worked out at the last moment, thankfully. I don't know. I'll say it till the day I die. Ever who designs and develops press boxes and they don't allow the windows to open, they need to be strung up by their toenails or something, man.
no question, no doubt about it. Mike Parris. Mike Parris, the longtime 42nd year voice of the Gamecocks, Jacksonville State. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Mike,
Mike.
yep, appreciate it. Go
Thank
up.
you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Joe, Chili, how about that, man? 42 years with Mike tonight. I mean, that's, Joe, between folks like you and Matt and Mike and a handful that are in that profession, man, that's yeoman's work, man. That is yeoman's work.
Absolutely.
Man, it's love. It's love of the craft. It's love of the coaches and the kids and then the sport. And, I'm glad he still has the fire and the passion for it. I mean, he's as good an individual as you'll meet too in this business. I mean, I remember we went down there, like I said, 8 years ago, and he was just as nice and hospitable to us and took care of us. And, and broadcasters around our league are like that too. I mean, rarely do you run into somebody who's just, not very helpful, but Mike is at the other end of that spectrum. He is as helpful as he could be. And of course, when I reached out to him to jump on with us here tonight, absolutely be glad to do it. And it's the night before the game, right? I mean, he's got a lot going on. I've been there and done that. So that was gracious of him to do that, and we're appreciative of it.
I'm noticing a theme because his name is Parris, and Melissa won gold.
That's pretty good, Chili.
In Paris.
How about that? How about you tying that together? How about that, Chili?
That's pretty good, man.
That's what I do here. That's my only job.
No way, brother. We couldn't do it without you, man. I tell you what's pretty neat too is his perspective on Jack State. And we said it earlier, the three of us in our own way, they're in the same boat we are. They're in the same boat a lot of G5 schools are in right now that are the top 15, 20, 25 of that G5. And even, I would better say some of that bottom P4, P5, whatever they're calling it now, P4, when you get 40, 50, 60 guys that are on your team through high school recruitment, JUCO recruitment, and portal, you think boys, until that ball snaps. Joe, what you were saying before Mike got on, I'm with you. I think Vasco starts. Chili, I do think this, though. I think that even if Vasco starts, to Joe's point, I think you're going to see a couple series. If he's hot, stays in. If it's good, but there's a moment to put Kim in with a package, right? Like, let's say we go maybe get a touchdown or a field goal, we get a little production. I think you get maybe a short field or something like that. Maybe get the ball around the 40 or so, our own 40, but with a short field. Maybe Noah comes in, put him in a situation that he's real accustomed to, right? Maybe slings a little bit. I could see that, Joe, to what you were saying earlier. That might be and Rich Rod and them, he touched on that with him with Jacksonville State, is they may have a guy run 2-3 series, but they're going to have a package for their number 2 guy to get in a series or 2 as well, because you just don't know, man. And you can't afford this day and time to not put a kid out there and not see what they can do for you, because you never know what the spark can be.
And it's that you never know thing, too, because like he said, with everybody who they have coming in, and we're in the same boat, TD, because you're 100% correct. So you never know what's going to happen. I don't know if it was Ali or Mike Tyson that said everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the mouth.
That's right.
So we don't know what's going to happen, and we don't know who's going to step up, and we don't know really, honestly, anything except that we got a football game to kick off tomorrow night.
8 o'clock.
Got to get some picks in, too.
Yeah, man. Let's get some picks in.
So I'm going to start us off with the 2 Thursday games, and then we'll just kind of go through the Sun Belt schedule and wrap it up with the last game on that Saturday night with the James Madison Charlotte game. But the first game up is Jackson State, TD, not Jacksonville, but Jackson State travels to Monroe.
Man, it's only a 7.5 point spread, boys. But I'm gonna take the Warhawks and their new uni combo, which, by the way, I'm so thrilled that they finally embrace that military Warhawk. Have y'all seen that theme that had like the Warhawk teeth? And I mean, I'm so happy that they're embracing that. I think it's so cool, and they can leverage that so much with some serious merch. But I'm gonna take Monroe, Joe. Chili.
I got Monroe.
I got Monroe also.
The next game, I think we know who we all got, so we can.
We all got
Yeah.
the
We got the
Chanticleers.
good guys. So
That's
here's
right.
where it
Gotta
gets
be
fun
good.
is everybody else now. So ETSU travels to Crappalachian Stank. I'm taking, sadly, Crappalachian
Same.
I'm taking the University north of Blowing Rock.
Very good. We got Boise traveling to Georgia Southern.
Oh, Chili, we're losing you here for a second. There you go. All right, come on back. There you go. You're good now.
We good?
Joking. There you go. You're good. Had a little bit of little 5G interference or something. Who knows? But you said Boise State down at Georgia Southern. As
Yes,
much as I
Boise
wanna-
State at Georgia Southern, yeah.
as much as I want to take Georgia Southern, man, I think Boise State beats them in Statesboro.
I'm going Boise.
I got Geso in this one.
Queso. Can I get? My wife likes to also get large chip salsa, and can we get a cup of queso too?
I think I'm going to call
Take
them
'em.
Geso from now on.
I'm gonna call him Geso. I got him.
ODU travels to Columbia to
Who
take
do
on
you
the other
got now,
Gamecocks.
Chili? I didn't hear who you got.
He,
I have
he,
Boise.
took, he took Boise.
Oh, you got boy. Okay,
He
so
took
I'm going
Boise.
against you two guys on this one.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
And here's the game that separates me from Joe right here, TD. Or ties us.
As much as I
ODU
wanna take
travels to
Old
Columbia
Dominion,
to play the
and
other
I think
Gamecocks.
I think they're going to be close.
Yeah, South Carolina.
South Carolina.
Yeah. We have
The School of
Stony
Columbia.
Brook traveling
Excuse
to
me.
Marshall.
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 Marshall. North Texas at South Alabama.
Man, this is a tricky, man. It's only a 5.5 point spread. It's at South Al. There's a lot. They've had some turnover there too. I'm gonna go with Sala. I'm gonna get. Can we get chips and Sala with a side of queso, please? So I'll take Sala over the North Texas Mean Green.
Same.
Same here too. Nevada
Chili,
travels
you
to Troy.
paused. I thought for a second. I thought he was about
I
to take
did.
North Texas the way he paused.
I
that.
did.
I thought he was
I
going to
paused.
be a contrarian there for a second.
But
You did.
no,
Yeah.
I'm drafting. I'm Ricky Bobby this year.
There you go.
Ah,
There you go.
So we got
State
Nevada
Central,
going to Troy.
Arkansas State. Oh, Nevada going to Troy. Ooh,
this is a good one.
man.
This is
I
this
just
is
don't
a
know how.
sneaky good
Yeah,
one.
man. I just don't know how Troy's going to. Nevada looked better than I think that they were projected to look in that first game. They got all new coaching staff, if I remember correctly, right? And man,
I got Nevada.
man.
I'm taking
See,
Nevada.
I'm thinking Nevada too, but I'm gonna go Troy, and I'm gonna regret going that way because Troy is an 8.5 point favorite. But I would not be shocked if Nevada beats Troy because they're better. But I'm gonna take Nevada. Actually, you know what? I'm taking Nevada.
Oh,
I'm taking Nevada.
Troy. I mean, he just can't. help
Okay,
himself.
I'm going
taking
to pick
Nevada.
Troy as an 8.5 point favorite at home. I'm picking Troy.
There you
Joe
go.
and TD.
And that's probably the smart pick. That
Yeah.
really probably is. But I kind of Nevada's got a game under their belt. I'm
I
going
watched. They
back
didn't
that
play
one.
bad either. They didn't play
Nah.
See,
bad.
don't play. See, wait a minute. If you say they didn't play bad, it's not a glowing endorsement, TD. You didn't play
Dude,
too
they
bad.
were
Come
they
on.
were a 3-9 last year. They overhauled their entire staff and they got like 90 new players. And they played. Who was it? Was it SMU or no?
Yeah, they had SMU.
Yeah, SMU.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
dude, and SMU's supposed to be like
Pretty good.
pretty damn good this year, and they held them to. I mean, it was a nail biter for 4 quarters. So, well, not nail biter, but they had to come back. SMU had to come back and win. So, I don't know. I'm probably going to regret doing that, but I'm going to go Nevada.
Central Arkansas goes to Arkansas State.
I like Ark State in this one. Lot of enthusiasm around there right now. I like Ark State.
I have Ark State also.
As much as I want to take Target State, I never want to take Target State.
Target State.
And
so you want Central Arkansas?
I'm gonna go Target State, but they are forever Target State, being that they took 10 away from us after that game. And I don't mean Target as in the shopping either. I mean Target as in the kid should have been thrown out still in their podcast. So anyways, I digress. Anyways, Target State will win over Central Arkansas.
Seymour DeCampus is traveling to Lexington, Kentucky.
Oof. Cats over the campus. Cats over the campus all day long.
Yeah.
The Cats over the campus.
The Cats over the campus.
We got to get Joe Catanacci to call the Southern Miss game. That's what we're going to call it. The Cats over the campus. Lamar travels to Texas State.
I got the Bobcats.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bobcats.
I got the Bobcats.
Yeah, I'm taking the Bobcats.
Grambling at the Culture.
Look here. If it's band on band, I'm taking Grambling. Let's be honest.
Oh, yeah. If it's band against band, there's no
I'm
question.
Taking Grambling all day long, but I'm gonna take the Culture over Grambling State University.
I got the Culture too.
Same here. Georgia State travels to Georgia Tech, right down the road.
Oh man, look, this is a 20.5 point spread, but it's going to be an interesting matchup.
It's going to be a blowout.
But
I think it's a blowout.
Okay, Pat McAfee, that's what they said. I'm going to take Georgia Tech, but I just wonder if Georgia Tech, I just wonder if I wonder if they don't cover.
After last week picking Florida State, saying that they were a slam dunk, I'm not picking against Georgia State for the rest of my life. Georgia Tech will win that football game. Last one, James Madison travels to Charlotte. I got the Dukes.
I got the Dukes.
Yeah, I got the Flying Streamers
too. Biff
Biff
Poggi did not sound real enthusiastic coming out of camp with his cutoff sleeve T-shirt.
He wasn't a ball of fire about that one, but I got the Flying Streamers.
Apparently,
we'll see what
they got like half
Bob
their team.
Chesney and that bunch does.
Yeah, they got like half their team or half their starters are not. I like how he said not able to play, which could mean a number of things.
That could be a lot of things.
So as we wrap things up here, Joe, I think you wanted to kind of go around as we land the plane and talk about one key as we go into Jacksonville State's game tomorrow night.
Well, I kind of think unless y'all want to. We're teal, white, teal tomorrow night in case anybody hasn't seen that. That's the uniform combo, teal, white, teal. I think the number one storyline for me is the quarterback. What are we going to do? And that's obvious. That's like Captain the obvious stuff. Who starts? How, do we run to what the deal is? I think that's the number one thing I'm looking at.
For me,
go ahead.
For me, we are at an inflection point, circa 2019. Who? How, and for me, I think it goes to, can we stop Jack State from running the ball effectively? Right? Mm-hmm. Effectively can take on a number of dynamics through the course of a game. Effectively in one game could be 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Effectively in another game could be 9 yards, right? Can we stop them effectively in this game to force them to throw to that core of receivers, right? I think that's it. We win that battle, I think you may see some other dominoes happen, because if you stop the run, working that play clock and being speedy, that doesn't bode well for a team that wants to get up and go if you can stop the run. So stop the run. Can we effectively stop the run?
Yeah, and mine's kind of the same thing, but on the other side, for the other team, Jacksonville State lost their top 2 defensive linemen, top 2 linebackers, and 5 out of their 6 top tacklers are gone with a new defensive coordinator. My question is, can Jacksonville State stop the run? If we can run the ball, I think we're going to win the football game. So that's the key I'm looking for, if Jacksonville State's defense can stop Coastal's run.
Yeah, good point.
Good stuff.
We are a presentation of 5403 Productions and a proud member of the College Huddle. Guys, they added a new member of the College Huddle this week, so I think they just hit 100 people. So we are, again, a proud member of the College Huddle Network and proud to represent Coastal in the College Huddle Network. Guys, anything else to plug before we sign off here?
Yes, radio broadcast on the Chanticleer Sports Radio Network from Van Wagner will start at 6 p.m. Eastern. So be sure to listen to Chris Bergen, who hops in the pilot chair tomorrow night, Lane Harris, Sam Wiederhaft, and Joe Katz. 6 p.m. for the 8 p.m. kickoff. The Chanticleer Sports Radio Network. Coastal football on the radio. WRNN, by the way, 99.5.
Yeah.
What you got, TD?
Here's to a clear ref feed for our new boys.
Oh, there you go.
New boys.
No kidding.
Here's to a clear ref
CUSA
feed.
better get this right. CUSA refs tomorrow night, they better get the whole thing right.
Hey, cheers to a clear ref feed for our boys and their new chairs.
Indeed.
And make sure you try and listen to it strut style. You turn up Big Game Bergen and watch the big game on TV.
Big Game Bergen. It's too funny.
Very
Gentlemen,
popular episode.
let's give them one.
Let's Chants
All
up,
right.
guys.
Shouts up.
Thumbs up.